Dragon Ballers, if you're looking to buy Dragon Ball Super or One Piece sealed product, make sure to get 5% off using my link to Mystic TCG down in the description. You can also sell cards to them using their Facebook link, which is also down in the description. Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. We are back into set 20 Power Absorb reveals, and today we'll be going over the Super 17 cards that are coming out in the set. I'm pretty sure the last time we got green Super 17 in the form of an archetype was in set 5, so we'll be looking for synergies with that stuff and this stuff in this video. But also, like, I read these cards a couple days ago and couldn't fully grasp what the deck is supposed to do because there's a lot of text in these cards and I just didn't like fully devote my attention to it. So I'll be learning alongside you guys in this video, but in general, we're going to look to see if this stuff can, I guess, keep green on its upward trajectory. Like, green has just been the joke color for countless sets in Dragon Ball Super, and it seems to be in a decent-ish spot right now, and maybe it's on the up and up going forward, and we'll see if this is able to keep that going, I guess. But anyways, if you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video, and let's jump right on in. Now, first things first, can someone drop a comment down below, because I don't remember why there are 2 Android 17s in this GT arc, so if you could drop a comment reminding me, that would be very helpful. But anyways, let's start with the leader. So on the unawakened side, we are Android 20 and Dr. Mew. Auto and card attacks, look at top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 Android or Machine Mutant card, both green with energy cost of 6 or less, among them to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So this leader is an Android and Machine Mutant. I wonder if the Machine Mutant part is actually relevant, because I think most Machine Mutant like cards that tag that on like battle cards and stuff are related to like red baby stuff or maybe blue baby stuff. So I don't know if that part's super relevant for this, but we'll see as we go forward. Awaken release 4 or less, or when you have 2 or more energy while 1 or more Android 17 and Hellfighter 17 cards are in your Z energy and battle area, draw 2 cards and add cards from life to your hand until you have 6 life left. So turn to awaken should theoretically be consistent as long as you can see those 2 types of cards. Then we have Hellfighter 17 plans in motion. We have auto and card attacks, draw 1, activating once per turn, add 1 card from your life to your hand and choose one of your opponent's unisons and remove a marker from it. I actually really like that activate main because you get control over your life once you awaken and put yourself down to 6. So now your homicidal clones are automatically online. That is sometimes a problem for decks that go down to 6 life on awaken. They can't get themselves down to 4 to then use their super combos effectively. So that's a pretty nice touch on this leader. And then we have activate main once per turn, place 1 card from under one of your Super 17 cards under this card, and then for the turn, reduce the skill cost of Z Awaken on Super 17 ready to absorb in your Z deck by 1 green, so making your Z leader a little bit cheaper. This guy shuffles around Z leaders like you change your underwear, so we'll see how that ends up working out, if that's not too gimmicky or anything. But yeah, that's also gonna be super relevant as well, because we know, like, in the past, having specific cards under Super 17s is relevant, and that's actually also relevant for the Z leaders here. So let's take a look at what we've got for the Z leaders. We have Super 17 ready to absorb. So theoretically, this is the first Z leader you should go into, and it will cost 1 green when you use the backside leaders activate main. So firstly, we have Z stack 2 green Super 17 leaders, all of which are the ones on the screen here. So basically both these other leaders should go under this. Auto, at the end of the opponent's turn, place this card from under your Z leader on top of your leader. All right, so I guess that's another way to like shuffle around your Z leaders. Activate main once per turn, place 1 green Android card with energy cost of 1 from your deck or drop under this card and shuffle your deck if you look through it. Actually a really good effect for many of the cards we'll see later on. Then we have Super 17 Bound by Blood. So we have Z Awaken for 4, but you're probably never going to actually pay the Z energy cost to do this, I would think. Auto, if an Android 18 card is under your leader and you place 1 card from under a Super 17 in your battle area in the owner's drop, at the end of your turn, place this card from under your leader on top of your leader. So I guess with these autos, like, you have the choice of which leader you want to end up on, assuming you have the appropriate material underneath. That's the thing I'm getting from this, at least. Auto once per turn, when your opponent attacks, choose one of your Super 17 cards and switch to active mode. And then auto once per turn if it's your opponent's turn. When an opponent switches one of their energy to rest mode, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy costs of 4 or less and KO it. That's kind of interesting, actually, because like during your opponent's turn, if they play anything, you just get to pop it. Like, that costs 4 or less, obviously. So for example, if your opponent plays like Piccolo the Infiltrator and they don't give it barrier, you can just kill it right on the spot, which is kind of like a mini charismatic villain. That's actually super interesting. But now notice on both these leaders, we actually don't have any form of like advantage plussing, like no draw power on either of these leaders. That's kind of a crazy thing, to be honest. And yes, like Bound by Blood is a 20k base. That is really nice. You don't have to draw cards as a leader in order to be good. We've seen that in the past, but just something that caught my eye. Anyways, though, we have Super 17 Diabolical Union. We have a 4 energy Z Awaken, which again, you're probably never going to pay most likely, but you could end up doing it. Auto once per turn, this card attacks, draw 1. So now we actually have a 20k Z leader that does draw us cards. Very solid. Auto once per turn, if it's your turn, when an opponent's energy is switched to rest mode, switch this card to active mode and choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So now if they play cards during your turn, you're going to be KOing battle cards and getting dual attack on your leader. You don't draw twice because it is a once per turn auto to draw, but that's still not too bad. Activate main, if a cell card is under your leader and you place one card from under a Super 17 in your battle area in the owner's drop, place this card from under your leader on top of your leader. All right, so there are a few things going on here, but I'm kind of starting to see what's what. So this guy has an activate main that I'm assuming can just be activated while it's under a stack, because like otherwise, why would you place this card on top of your leader? This would just be your leader, right? So at any point, you could theoretically make this guy your leader for your turn, and then like, for example, go into Bound by Blood at the end of your turn, so that this way you have like the mini charismatic villain effect ready to go. And then if you hopefully have another cell underneath, you can go back into Diabolical Union. And I guess that's what's good about Ready to Absorb's activate main, is that you can just place the appropriate materials under your leader. So you can then do like this swapping type of thing where you want to be on Diabolical Union for your turn, and then Bound by Blood during your opponent's turn. Yes, this is very, very gimmicky, but this might just work out because Ready to Absorb seems like a really solid Z leader for setting all this up. So far, not hating it. I'm definitely not hating it. All right, let's see some of the main deck battle cards. We have Hellfighter 17, the Brainwasher, 1-drop 4K. Auto once cards played, draw 1. Activate main, place this card in the owner's drop. That would be from the board. Play up to 1 Android 17 Brainwash Fighter from your deck with skills negated for the turn, and then shuffle your deck. Activate main limit 1 if your leader is a green Super 17 or green Hellfighter 17 card, and you place 1 green non-Hellfighter 17 from your Z energy in the owner's drop. Add this card from your drop to your Z energy. So that should be some sort of like awakening fixing, although you'd have to do this on your awakened side already, so I guess it wouldn't really help you get awakened in terms of like your Android 20 and Mew leader needing your 17s in all the different areas. This wouldn't really work for that because your leader has to be awakened already, but it might be relevant for various other effects. I don't remember if other effects need you to have certain Z energy or not. But anyways, so the Brainwasher fetches the Brainwashed Fighter from the deck. Let's see what he does. Auto, he is a barrier, and then when this card's played from your hand, look up 5 cards on top of your deck, add up to 1 green android, the energy cost of 6 or less amongst your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So we're searching pretty much every android short of a secret rare, which is not bad. Notice this does not say mono green. That's going to be a little bit relevant for something later on that I pulled from the past. But yeah, so we have the Brainwasher pulling the Brainwash Fighter out of the deck, and then we have Hellfighter 17 Calculated Cruelty. So this is a 3-drop 15k. Activate main for a green if your leader's a green Super 17 or Hellfighter 17 card, and you have an Android 17 card in play, which would be Brainwash Fighter. Play this card from your hand. Activate main limit 1 if your leader is a green Super 17 or green Hellfighter, and you place 1 green non-Hellfighter 17 card from your Z energy in the drop. Add this card from your drop to your Z energy. So again, like, it seems like the Hellfighter 17s have a method of putting themselves in the Z energy. We'll see what that's relevant for later on. All right, then we have a super rare for the deck, 1 of 2. We have Android 17 and Hellfighter 17 synchronized, 4-drop 15k. Activate main limit 1 if your leader is a green Super 17 or Hellfighter 17 and you have 2 or more energy, just simply play this card from your hand for 1. Activate main limit 1, place this card in the owner's drop. Again, that would be from your board. Play up to 1 17 and 1 Hellfighter 17, both green with energy costs of 1 from your deck, and or drop their skills negated for the turn, and shuffle your deck if you look through it. So this thing can break apart into both 1-drops, which again, we'll see if that's relevant later on. Super 17 Hell's Avenger, 6-drop 20k. We have Blocker, Auto. If your leader is a green Super 17 or Hellfighter 17, when this card attacks, use 1 card from under this card in a combo, and your opponent places 1 of their Z energy in the owner's drop. So some Z energy destruction. That's kind of like a first. That's a pretty cool effect. I mean, against some matchups it'll be dead, but I guess that's counterbalanced by the fact that this is making you your own Z energy. So the Z energy destruction there is kind of just like a bonus, I would say. Activate main limit 1 for a green. If you have 3 or more energy, you choose 1 Hellfighter 17, use the energy, and 1 Android 17 in your battle area. Draw a card, play this card from your hand, then place the chosen cards under this card with this skill, and this card gains double strike and barrier for the turn. So there it is right there. That's the relevant reason why you want to be bringing out your 1-drops, is so that you can basically play Hell's Avenger for 1 energy, and in general it's going to cost you 2 energy. You know, the 1 energy you use to play the synchronized, and then that breaks apart for free into the 2 1-drops, and then Hell's Avenger will also play for 1. You do have to have 3 or more energy, but it is a rather cheap play, and it's protected with barrier, and God-Stealing Trunks is not a card anymore, so that's not really bad at all. Then we have Super 17 Onyx Lightning. Very, very cool name, but 8-drop, 30k, blocker, auto limit 1. If your leader is a green Super 17 card, when a card is placed from under this card in its owner's drop by your leader's skill, which we saw before, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, KO it, and your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. Activate main limit 2 for 2 green. If you have 4 or more energy, you choose 1 Hellfighter 17 in your Z energy and 1 Android 17 in your battle area. Play this card from your hand, place all the chosen cards under it, and this card gains double strike, barrier, and dual attack for the turn. Okay, so honestly, it seems like you could just forego Hell's Avenger altogether and just play Onyx Lightning. I mean, maybe you want to play some combination of both, because like Hell's Avenger is a turn 3 play and Onyx Lightning's a turn 4 play. But yeah, that just seems really good. I like that both of them play around Charismatic Villain for the mirror match. You might not even end up playing a Unison in this deck. That's quite a possibility, although it's really hard to pass up on the opportunity to play Dormant Potential. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. That could be like your turn 2, go for a Unison, turn 3, go into Hell's Avenger, turn 4, go into Onyx Lightning, and then just swap between your various Z leaders. This is honestly kind of coming together for me, I'm not going to lie. Then we have the various cards that go under your Z leader. So we have Android 18, Powerful Quarry. We have a 1 cost, activate battle limit 1. Send this card from under your Super 17 Z leader to the owner's warp, and then up to one of your leaders gets plus 5k for the battle. So it is a card that can just be comboed while it's under your leader. That's not too bad. It does go to your warp though, which means you know, you only have a finite number of copies. You can't really recycle this. But you know, that'll just be a part of the deck building process. Then we have Cell, Powerful Quarry. We have a 1-drop 5k, activate battle limit 1 for a green. Send this card from under your Super 17 Z leader to the owner's warp. Your leader gains double strike for the battle. So you actually have a searchable built-in double strike Champa. I do like that quite a bit. And to be fair, you don't have to use either of these activate battles when you don't want to. So maybe there is some sort of like recyclability there. But yeah, this seems pretty good. I really like Powerful Quarry Cell having the built-in double strike. I don't have to play a red card. I don't have to play a 10k combo in the form of Further Construction Champa. Big fan of that. Then we have Dr. Mew Vengeful Alliance. So this is like part of a 2-card combo with there's an Android 20 counterpart to this that I don't even think is worth mentioning in this video, because it's just not playable at all in this deck from what I've read. But the Mew is actually not the worst. So this is activate main limit 1. If your leader is a green Super 17 card, you have 4 or more energy, and you place this card from your hand in your drop. Play 1 Android 17 and 1 Hellfighter 17, both energy costs of 1 from your drop, with their skills negated for the turn. So this is very similar to the yellow Jiren tournament pack from like a long time ago, but basically for free you can discard this, and then you're able to play both 1-drops, which lets you go into both of your Super 17 boss monsters. So if you wanted to play this as like supplementary to the synchronized card that we read before, this is a 0 energy way to do that. It does cost you 1 card from hand, but I think in a lot of cases could actually still be worth it. This card does actually seem quite good for this archetype. It's a very weird type of card because it's also meant to be used in the Goku deck coming out for this set, this and the Android 20 counterpart. We'll read those parts of the effects when we actually do those videos. But yeah, this card actually seems really good, I gotta say. Anything that costs 0, even though it is a discard 1 from hand, it does seem pretty solid. Alright, we're wrapping up with one more new card for the deck, but also some old stuff that I think will work in this deck somewhat nicely. So we have Key Energy Absorb. This is a 1-cost counterattack. Negate the attack. Additionally, if the attacker was a Saiyan card, choose one of your Super 17 cards and switch it to active mode. We know a couple of them have blockers, so this is relevant for that if you're up against a Saiyan deck, which, I mean, it's Dragon Ball, so you're probably going to play against a Saiyan deck a fair amount of the time. Permanent, if your leader is a green Super 17 Z leader, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost by discarding another card from your hand instead. Now, it is nice this has a free way to be activated, but I think we run into a little bit of a problem where this deck doesn't seem to have a crazy abundance of draw power. Again, you can play Unisons to try and help solve that issue, but you know, between discarding for this and discarding for Dormant, that might just be a lot. But again, maybe you just don't play Dormant in this deck. That's quite a possibility. Now for some older support. I was looking at old green Super 17 cards, and none of them seem to work too well in this deck, to be honest. But I did see Relentless Absorption, which actually might work nicely. So this is a 3-drop with Successor, so you're basically going to sacrifice 3 energy worth of cards on your board, which we've seen multiple ways to get 3 drops out, and there actually is a Hellfighter 17 that plays himself for 1 that costs 3, so that can synergize nicely with this. And then we have Unit Absorb, limit 1 for a green. If your leader is an android card, you have 4 or more energy, you may place up to 1 cell from your deck or drop under this card. If you do, choose 1 Super 17 Cell Absorbed or Super 17 Hellstorm Unleashed in your deck or hand, play it with its keyword skills negated for the turn, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. Now you'll notice I included Cell Absorb here, but not Storm Unleashed. The reason I didn't include Storm Unleashed is because I believe his effect something along the lines of like, crit your opponent's lives until they have 4 life left, and that is a really powerful effect if you can keep your opponent at 8 life. This deck can't quite do that because you have to attack to draw cards in this leader, at least on your Awakened side, so I didn't think that was that great, but it is possibly playable in the deck. Definitely a lot better now that God Sealing is banned, because I don't think that card has Deflect, but Cell Absorbed is the main card I'm thinking you can use with this. So it's critical, dual attack, deflect, auto sparking 10. When this card attacks, if your leader is a green android, your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand and places them in the drop. So the potential to play this card for 2 energy is very, very cheap. This thing is very threatening, making your opponent potentially pitch 4. Seems very good. It's got deflect, so it's hard to interact with on play. In the green mirror, it is a little bit vulnerable, but like yellow can't rest it on play easily, blue can't interact with it at all on play. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff, at least from older legacy support. But anyways, guys, I'm thinking this stuff seems pretty decent. It's probably one of those things that I'll have to test and then really see if it's good or not, but I actually do like the way the Z leaders do their swapping. I think that it's pretty cool to have your Z leader you want on your own turn, and then your Z leader you want on your opponent's turn that actually like interrupts what they're doing. I think that's very, very cool. But of course, I want in the comments below what you guys think about all this. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.